positive. positive, dash positive. positive.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to EML F1. We are here tonight for season number 5. It is round 1 of the championship, and as you can tell with British flags in the background, we are home at the home of British Motorsport at Silverstone for EML F1. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking to the stream, of course, as your lead commentator for this season. I think it's my 4th season doing EML, which is absolutely unbelievable. Thank you for having me along once again. Joining me in the com-talks, as he did with the qualifiers, or at least half of the qualifiers, it is Mr. IRT Indigo. Indigo, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you, mate. How are you doing?
I'm doing really, really well. Excited for the action tonight?
Oh, yeah, for sure. My first time here in EML, so I can't wait to see what happens with all these guys. The high caliber of these drivers, well, the standards and the pace is going to be incredible to watch with all 20 drivers out there fighting for the championship. First race of the season here in Silverstone, so what a place to do it as well. So I can't wait to see what happens during this event.
Definitely so, definitely so. And of course, you saw our sponsors, Next Level Racing. I've just got a chair, which is meant to be used for Legacy Division, by the way, but I thought I'd get the plug in the background as well. So we are sponsored, of course, by Next Level Racing and also by Rising Lions as well. And you'll be seeing more about that as the stream goes on as well. But let's have a reminder first and foremost before we get into qualifying of what actually happened in the qualifiers. Those are the 10 teams that qualified, of course, for F1. PSR out-qualifying OP and Team Chazoo 2nd and 3rd for those both. FER in 4th with NLR in 5th. ET8 there in 6th. G-League in 7th. X Esports in 8th. PGS Sim Racing in 9th. And WSC Esports are the 10 teams. They finished, of course, in 10th. 1.2 seconds up. They scraped through at the end. But Paradox Sim Racing out on top. Qualifiers, though, only tells us half the story in the goal. These guys now have to do it out on track.
Yeah, they do indeed around here at Silverstone, which has got around about, I think it is, I just forgot now. Yeah, 18 corners around here at Silverstone, 5.8 kilometers. So, yeah, this track is going to be proven to be challenging, but it's a great corner, fast-flowing corners, unique corners such as Maggis and Beckett's and Stowe as well, and Cops for good measure. So it's going to be a great one here at Silverstone. It's got plenty of history for racing and overtaking. So it's going to be an absolute thriller to watch tonight with all these drivers demonstrating what they can do in those top tiers in league racing.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to be very interesting indeed. We are getting the first drivers out on track. The 2 PSL boys of Black Box and Aurelian are the first 2 to come out. We will take you to the on-track action very soon indeed. But there is the lineup, of course, for tonight. Now, there have been a few changes to this. ET8 have got 1 replacement driver in. The Clopayers came in for Matteo late in the day, so they're in the Red Bull are ET8. Tom and Toxic Tomato win. Good to see actually Toxic Tomato racing the Team Chazoo. Very good pairing from them. Aurelian and Black Box, possibly the team to beat, I think, this season. PSR, they have got such a strong lineup, I think. They're going to be racing, of course, in the McLaren Mercedes, by the way, for Chazoo. Sasha and Devon in for FBR. Then we've got Maxwell, who was due to be here. I believe it's Ethan now, alongside YCN. Marcos and Nando, very strong lineup for Outplayed Racing. One of the favourites coming into tonight. We've got Shocks and Raffin for WSC and the AlphaTauri. Urpek, a name changer in the Williams for NLR. Very good, solid lineup again for the former EML Premier 2 champions in Season 2. Andres and Twisted. Andres was due to be here. It is now, and I'm just looking at the left-hand side of my screen, Tony joining in for X Esports along with Twisted, and Paul and Lucas in there for PGS as well in the hat right down at the bottom. And looking at that lineup, of course, we've got the likes of Aurelian and Black Box, Marcos, Nando, very familiar names for PlayStation, but we've also got brand new teams in the mix. WSC, for example, X Esports and PGS all coming back, making their their Formula One debuts even here tonight. It's going to be really fascinating to see how everyone gets on out on track.
Yeah, it is indeed, and I can't wait to see. We've got Aurelian then coming through the first corners already, then flat out in 7th gear, revving it out. You don't want to go into 8th because you will bog down as well. Going into turn number 3, then in 4th gear, very smooth on the entry and exit, then bringing it into turn number 4 right now. Very clean exit as well. A bit of wheels on the exit, but it is a banker lap as we come onto the Wellington Straight. Then DRS is enabled on the Wellington Straight as we head down then into Brooklands and Luffield. Break at the 50-meter board, getting the car turning, hitting the apex on the entry, then bring it over to the left-hand side to get a good entry into Luffield. Then just being patient on the throttle there because it's very easy to lose traction, negotiates it out well. Then coming into Woodcut, a simple flat-out corner there as we head into former turn 1 back in 2009, I believe it was, before they changed it. Flat out through there was Aurelian then as we make our way now into Maggots and Beckett's then fast flowing corners through these 2 segments here, and now coming into the next part of it, down into 7th, down into 6th, get back on the throttle immediately then onto the left hand side go. DRS enabled then, it's going to be a 1.7 for him in the middle sector as he heads into the straight as we come into Stone now, into 6th gear we go. You can run out wide just a bit there, but not too much. He's the result of the validation now into these slow speed corners. And here we go. Let's see how he tackles it very nicely through there. Hooks it up really nice too, using the throttle to rotate the car as we make our way through the final corner. The first lap is going to be a 24.6 for the rest to catch and beat.
Yeah, solid lap time actually from Aurelian. Black Box coming in as well with a 101.8 in that middle sector. He's now coming through in towards Club Corner at turn 18, looking to try and outgun his PSL teammate in the end. 2/10 off though from Black Box. Normally strong around here. Aurelian though out on top. Black Box second. Pauli there in third as well. The German just trying to ride on board with anybody that might be on a lap. Marcados is on a lap, but he's down in the middle sector compared to what we've seen with Aurelian and Black Box so far. 101.9 in that middle sector for Marcados. Of course, the man who won around here in PSGL this season. He goes 4th, 24.9. He's much stronger in the race than he is, of course, in qualifying. Name changer there going in 5th. Lucas now going in 5th as well. Plenty of early lap times being set. Nick Clope going to be one of the next to come across the line as well in the Red Bull, but it's Aurelian out on top. It's Black Box in 2nd. Pauli there in 3rd early on. Devon there going 5th as well. Normally a Brit specialist, and Nick Clope going 7th. But early on, good lap times being set, including from the Shazoo man of Tom, who's purple out of everyone in that first sector.
Yeah, then, so let's see what Tom does in the Mercedes. He's got a great pace as the Shazoo driver, so hopefully he can continue his way out of cops that was flat-out corner through there nowadays in these Formula 1 hybrid era cars as we head into Maggots and Beckett's. Then the reference point was a 1.7 from Aurelian. Let's see what he does in this middle sector. A 2.1 then, so might have lost a bit of time in that middle sector there from Tom. So let's see where he puts him. But yeah, 4 drivers in the 24s then with Devon just outside of it as Tom makes his way through Stowe as he makes his way now into the final 3 corners, get it all slowed down. Very important to slow it all down because you can run out wide easy through here. Back on the traction, it's very easy to lose traction out of that corner. So 25.2 for Tom, and that only puts him P9. These times are relatively close. Look at all these times as well. A few tenths can put you up the order dramatically as his teammate Toxic Tomato is just ahead of him in P8 then. So both Mercedes there running line astern as ETA Mohammed is in P7 with a 25.2. So yeah, there are your first lap times. We've still got Apex, Erpec and Nando yet to set a lap time. Nando is still in the pit lane, but Erpec at 1.8 in that middle sector, and Thomas' reference was a 2.1. So Erpec's got some decent pace, but there's 2 cars ahead of him. Hopefully they'll get out of the way. He might suffer a bit of turbulent air through the high-speed corner. 3 cars indeed, but they get out of the way eventually. So hopefully it hasn't affected Erpec at all as he negotiates now, threading the needle through these corners, gets on the power. Let's see what lap time this is. It's going to be a 24.8, and it separates both McLarens.
Yeah, solid lap time actually. To think as well, Urpek is one of the leaders in the PSGL F2 Championship. Black Box is PSGL F1, same with Aurelian as well. Marcodos in 5th PSGL F1, and Urpek to put him second. Very good showing early on from the NLR man. Definitely the future to behold. Interesting actually as well, Nando was not came out for lap time just yet, so maybe with a one eye to what the weather conditions might do out on track. Of course, we are in Britain. It is raining right now here in the north of England. I can definitely report that as I look out to the left-hand side of my window. But Aurelian out on top, Urpek second, Blackbox there in third. The first runs are now done. It means the second runs will be very much happening very soon indeed. But running through some of our notes, of course, we've got, of course, the likes of Aurelian, Urpek and Blackbox. And we mentioned there WSC, a very unknown team to me because I've never really commentated on WSC. I think they formed as part of One Esports. One, of course, took part in EML Premier in the past. They're down in 18th and 19th right now. G League as well, brand new to EML Premier, even though I've known them from Legacy Division and they are doing such a cracking job there in Legacy Division. Definitely ones to watch out for. But in terms of the early, as the early land lies here in qualifying, PSR, NLR, OP up there, pretty much to be expected. But the likes of one with YCN, with GL of course, in 7th, not looking too bad along with the ET8 guys as well.
Yeah, those guys looking very strong over there. The PSR boys and LLR as well, and OP Marcados in P5. His teammate down in P20 then, he's on an outlap, is Nando Jr. So let's see if he does manage to get a lap time. I'm not quite sure what happened on his first lap, whether he invalidated or just made a play mistake. But yeah, he's the only driver not set a lap time, so doesn't have that banker, and he's running out of sequence with the rest of them too. So both McLarens out there quite early too, Aurelian and Blackbox. So like they did at the early stages of qualifying, going out there for their second runs on a brand new set of softs. You can see there, Aurelian braking and accelerating at the same time to get the temperature in the tires, because that's the way to do it in this game. Braking and accelerating at the same time. You know, we don't see a lot of weaving, and also it burns off the fuel. The excess fuel might carry on board too on that McLaren. So yeah, just burn off the fuel, heats up the tires, ready for his second lap. So it's 24.8 and he's 24.6, sorry, and he's currently 2/10 quicker than Urpek. So Aurelian there has got the advantage, and he's a very strong driver indeed, as I've also commentated over him in the past, and I've commentated over a lot of drivers too in the past year. I know they're all very, very quick and talented, but Aurelian there with the extra limits out there is twirling the McLaren, doing a fantastic job with the 24.6. So can he extend the margin on his second attempt in the McLaren? What about Blockbox in P3? What about Paul in P4 there? What can they do as well down there? Can they improve and try and beat Aurelian's time? Aurelian there making his way towards the final few corners, so let's see what he could do on his second attempt.
Yeah, definitely. So name changer there as well, just down up and up. He's one of the first actually on this second run. So we'll run above name changer for now. We'll cut back to Aurelian as the lap progresses on. 27.2 in the first sector for name changer. Not looking too bad. The former F1 Esports Challengers man back in 2020 only picked up 1 point, and that was in Monaco of all places as well. So he's down there in 14th position right now, but lucky to try and get up the field as he goes. We'll go on board with Aurelian as well at this stage, coming through the first sector. He's a little bit behind some of the guys setting up on lap, but a 27 flat in the first sector. It's purple out of everyone in the first sector, and he is really cooking. I'm not sure what PSR, if they've got Crispy potentially in, and Aurelian there is absolutely flying early on in this session. Name changer through the middle sector, 102.1, so he's 2 tenths up on his lap time, but a 25.5 for name changer compared to Aurelian on a 24.6. They're going to have to climb mountains to try and get even close to the guys from PSL right now, as name changer comes in toward the Vale and Club Chicanes as 16, 17, and then through Club Corner now at turn number 18. Aurelian, Urpek and Blackbox top 3. Name changer to try and put it up there, only goes 13th, only improves ahead of Sasha there in the end. He's just starting up on his lap. Nando is coming toward the end of his lap as well, and he's a 101.7 in the middle sector. So big middle sector from him, and Aurelian then validate, I think, coming out of Stowe Corner there. So Aurelian not getting a lap time in. So Aurelian from Urpek from Blackbox running out the top 3. Cameron Dunn there saying in the chat, done the authenticate wrap, and it still didn't work. You will get opportunities to message the code. If not, message Maze or message us on Discord. Might just be the worth working, as Nando comes to the line and he goes third for Outplayed Racing, 24.8. So good, solid lap by the Portuguese man.
Yeah, Marquez, his teammate, coming through the final corner now. Let's see what he can do in the Ferrari. It's a 24.7, and he pops his car into P3. So PSR 1-2, OP 3-4 then. So those guys very close to each other indeed. Black Box did improve there by a 10th, so he managed to find the time, but not enough to beat his teammate. But however, it's still a McLaren 1-2 around here, and those guys are very close indeed. Can anybody else match him? We've got a few more drivers headed towards the line now. I think Aston Martin there, Sacha, who's got it to P12. It's only a 10th improvement for him. Unfortunately, it's Ethan there in P16, 4/10 improvement. Also a reserve driver around here, so I don't know how much practice he's done as the other driver pulled out, unfortunately. But yeah, currently replacing, and he's currently in P16 for the time being. And let's see who else is out there on a lap. I think Toxic Tomatoes just completed one. He only went a few hundreds up on his second attempt, and that's only a P11. But what about Tom in the Mercedes? He's gone into P8 with a 25.0 then. So not yet in the 24s, but he's very, very close and on the verge too to try and make it. Erpek has gone 3,000 in the middle sector and needs to find a few more hundreds if he wants to displace Nando then. So let's see. Remember on his last lap, there's a bit of traffic there, so it might have distracted him just a bit. Well, he's actually gone in the pit lane, so it doesn't feel like he's going to improve in that last sector.
Yeah, typical, I think, of drivers coming in the pit lane and juking us in there. Erpek there in 6th position. Solid lap, though, from his perspective. YCN as well going 5th, of course, a former EML Premier alumni back in the past. I think with F1 Friends Cup, if I'm not mistaken. The Frenchman doing a good job there as part, of course, of G League. Now, G League running a very much a minute run here in terms of their lineup. They've only got 7 drivers actually part of their squad. Same with FBR as well, who've only got 8. Many teams are fielding, though, their whole squads, which is why they're taking it very seriously indeed. And the likes of Aureli and the Marketers up there in the top 4, really, really now striking home that PSR and OP potentially are the ones to beat. But it is only round 1. Plenty of things can happen before now and the end of the season. Toxic Tomato was on a lap again, but he's invalidated once again. He is looking red-faced, I've got to say, in terms of his invalidation as well. That is a terrible pun on me. There'll be more from where that came from. Running though out on top, Black Box there in 2nd, Marketers there in 3rd. 30 of you tuning in so far to F1. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you are, like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. And Alex the G there in the chat. I've just spied this comment from earlier on. Good evening to my favourite F1 game commentator, and good evening, James, also. That is terrible behaviour, and hopefully he's got more puns like the Gil Bagetgo pun that he did in NRC back in the day.
Yeah, Alex the G, he's also a great racer too. So I've seen him now and then in every single race he's done, and yeah, he's quite a quick driver too. Also raced against Alex the G, and yeah, he's also quick too. But every single driver then in the pit lane, this qualifying session has gone flying by, and there's only about 3 minutes left to go in the session. So every single driver in the pit lane just preparing and waiting to go out for that final run then. So let's see who can take pole. It's belonged to Aurelian, but is anybody going to gain that, try and close in? Black Box there, only 100s quicker than Marco does, as Nando found his lap time on his second lap, or on his second lap on a brand new set of softs then. So let's see who can take pole position away. It's Aurelian for the time being, but they're gaining and gaining. Aurelian invalidated his second lap time, so we don't know what he could have done, but he was a few hundreds down anyway in the middle sector, as his teammate Black Box gained a 10th as well, and it got him to 24.7 ahead of Marcos just though. But Nando doing good too, despite that invalidation, hasn't phased him. But yeah, I can't wait to see what happens in this last part of qualifying. It's going to be very intense now, as some of the drivers are heading out. We've got a Haas out there too, who's approaching the track. So let's see then what's going to happen in this last part of qualifying.
Yeah, definitely. So, Alex the G has come in with a fantastic pun, I've got to be honest. It might not be repeatable on the stream, but you can have a look at it with your own eyes, I think, in terms of that one. It's a very good one. But Paulie is the first man out on track for PGS. Of course, I'm affiliated with PGS, so I bear no allegiance to PGS here tonight in the commentary box. I really do hope that they get on very well, though, and out on track, because they are in a bit of a rebuilding phase, I've got to say, within the team. The team only merged, March, I think it was, with another team, I think a German outfit, in fact. And now we've been merged, and it's now 6 months, and this is now the ploy, I think. EML, really the ploy for PGS to really get on the map once again. They've got very good drivers like Coginio back in the squad, back from TTG, and PGS, even though they're on a bit of a rebuilding mission, 8th and 14th so far in qualifying, not a bad job at all.
Yeah, especially being a top tier as well. They're not actually far away from Paul. Is Paul in P8? He's only about under 3/10, over 3/10 to get a mass right there. So can he find a lap time in his last qualifying session? And so he's cutting out like every single drive it's out there. So this is going to be intense qualifying. What I did notice when I've commentated before, if you get too close to a driver ahead, that driver ahead will pick up a 5-second time penalty. So you got to be very careful in terms of spatial awareness, because the game thinks you're holding somebody up when you're not. You're all in a big train, so you got to be very careful and acknowledge that. But the PGS driver coming around the final corner, and currently in P8, starting a lap time of 5.8 kilometers, last lap. Let's see then if the pressure will get to anybody, because late stages of qualifying, the pressure will ramp up, and it will bring out the best in driver to see who can deliver on their last laps as he makes his way down into turn number 3 then. So on his steering wheel, it says his first gear, so that glitch is still there. And I talked about it. OP Nando has got a 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. They're all budged themselves up in the final part of qualifying, the final sector. So unfortunately for Nando, who's currently in P4, a huge cost mistake as Paul there 2,000s down in the first sector, only the first sector, so he can make up that time in the middle and last one. But unfortunately for Nando, who's currently a bit wide on the exit there, and that might cost him a bit of time as well. It's the PGS driver, so might lose time all the way down the straight, and that was a huge cost mistake. But Nando from 4th will start 9th unless he gets dropped down by other drivers improving.
Yeah, I have a feeling, though, with that illegal blocking penalty, it is a bit of a glitch within the game, so I'm imagining that we're going to get a restart. I've got an intermission screen already prepared, just in the inevitability of this Silverstone Grand Prix, just having that restart. With a 101.8, though, in the middle sector from Paul, doing a fantastic job there in 8th position right now. 24.948 currently his best. I think he's going to go ahead of the man from G League in YCN, so this is looking very, very solid, I've got to say, at this point. The next man up toward the line as well, I think, is going to be one of the Williams and Name Changer or Urpex, so one of the NLR guys coming around the final corners on the run to the line, though, with Paul goes 1600ths quicker. Bit of a shock there, final sector from him, but a good lap regardless. There's somebody in the gravel there. That's Nicolope coming out of Lovefield, I think that is. In fact, no, it's not. It's coming through Maggots and Beckett in towards Chapel. So Nicolope there has spun. Name changer now is invalidated. He was the one on the run toward the line. The other Haas as well, of Lucas on the run toward the line. Formerly NLR Russell, he's also invalid as well. What are the top guys doing toward the top end of the field? Tom is improving early on. Mohammed's improving by a 10th.5 as well. So Mohammed's looking very good. We're right on board then with the ET8 man as he now comes in toward the left-hander of Veiled Chicane in towards 16 and 17. And rallying there, retiring out into the pit lane. So that is him done, but Black Box goes quicker. Black Box goes quicker than Aurelian, and Mohammed splits the OP pairing. Great lap time from him, but Marcados is flying. He's a 10th up now in the middle sector, and he's got a bit of traffic in the way. The Mercedes needs to get out of the way. I think that is Tom on a lap just ahead of him, but Marcados now through the final corner on the run to the line, goes second, and he got put off by that outplayed race, and they're going to be fuming with that Mercedes ahead. In fact, it was Toxic Tomato, the Mercedes, that was ahead of him. I think that's everyone done. I'm not sure if Tom's on a lap. He is indeed. He goes 7th position from Tom's perspective. Good lap from him. Close qualifying, certainly between the top 13. Black Box then out on top. Marcados there in 2nd. Aurelian there in 3rd. And it's the same old story from Legacy Division and WOR. PSR from OP, from PSR. And another legal blocking penalty for Tony, which I think is going to want to restart.
Yeah, Tony is on. Tony just finished his lap, and everybody else has too. So that's quite a strange penalty. And he's got another one too. It says at the top of the screen. So he'll be dropping down to P25. But yeah, but Black Box, I want to mention him. His teammate was on a lap time, but he backed off. I'm not quite sure if he made a mistake, because he did say he validated. He gave a big toe down the straight, so that was very good there. Good team play for Aurelian to give Black Box the slipstream and put him on pole position, because that was crucial, that slipstream, because I dare say Marcados would have got him, because the gap was only about 400s in the end. So there it is then. There are the results. I'll take a picture so I can do the lobby restart.
Yeah, if it is a lobby restart, apparently it is well, I definitely think there's a glitch in the game. It should be a restart, and it should be. Black Box out on top, though, for Marcados there in 2nd, Aurelian there in 3rd, Mohammed there in 4th. Nando will be 5th if we do get that restart. If not, he's going to be down in 10th position. And OP are going to be absolutely fuming, let me tell you with that. Urpek there in 6th with Tom in 7th. YCN there in 8th, and Paul and Sasha ran off the top 10. Devon, the Clope, Toxic Tomato, Twist, and Tony the top 15. Then Lucas, Name Changer, Ethan, Shocks, and Wrath right down the back of the field. WSC a little bit out their comfort zone, but I'm sure they're going to be going forward. Of course, Tony might drop those positions as well. But in the end, in terms of that, we are aware of that glitch, and quite a few guys are aware of it as well in the chat. So they are very much fuming, I've got to say. They are not happy if it is not going to be a restart. But if it is going to be a restart, then you are in the best seat in the house with beautiful blue skies and sunshine once again here. Let's take a quick word from our sponsors before we get ready up from Next Level Racing, and we'll be back in 30 seconds. Good evening once again, everyone, and you can tell that we are with the camera screen, and that means we are getting a restart, which I think is the fairest thing that everybody could hope for. No matter where you are down in the field, it is a glitch, of course, within the game. I've seen it plenty of times in PSGL, plenty of times in Legacy Division. Pretty much every single race, bar one, I think I've seen illegal blocking, and that illegal blocking glitch apparently is going to get fixed within the game. But it's equality right at the end of the day. It's pretty much putting everyone on an even playing field, and I think putting everyone on that even playing field with the penalties being removed and a restart being had is fantastic as well. And of course, we do need to see what the weather is going to be doing as well in terms of that lobby restart as well. But we are here once again. Indigo is going to be working very hard in the background as well to get the lobby reset. But what we can do though is talk about that fantastic qualifying session there from the guys out on track. And of course, it was Black Box beating Marcados, beating there in third Aurelian. Very close qualifying session. The top 13 covered by 0.4 of a second. Just comes to show how close these guys are around this track. As I think
That is true. If I don't speak much, then you'll understand why. Because I'm just trying to do the settings. So just bear with me if I don't speak.
It will. Yeah, we will. We will definitely bear with that. Definitely. What we will do then, in the case, is I will run through what we've got to look forward to and remind everyone, of course, of what happened in qualifying from both Spain and indeed Abu Dhabi. Paradox Sim Racing, of course, out on top with Keen and Max there with a 2:31.8 joint time, both their times added together. You've seen the times, by the way, in the red down in F2. That is also live, by the way, if you do want to check that. They got 1 second penalties and were adjacent to the slowest time of that session. So that's why they're down in penalties. I think Juventus Racing, Francesco got a penalty. That put them from basically being an F1, where WSC is down in 10th position, to being an F2 and down in 18th and not filling the lineup for round one. So Juventus have gone from literal heroes to zeros within the space of a couple of weeks. But in terms of what we should see, we're going to have a new lobby. We're going to get that all restarted. Speaking of new lobby, you are right on it within the new lobby invites, which is fantastic. We will get the drivers in as well, as many of them as possible. While we do that, hopefully everyone has been added in the custom group and it makes everything a lot easier. But what we will do then is take us to an intermission. You've already seen from our sponsors, GTM Mega, Next Level Racing, of course, but not in PSGL. It's Next Level Racing for the sponsors. We will be back, though, as soon as the lights go green once again. We'll be back in around about, I would say, 5 minutes' time. So enjoy some music, grab the popcorn, and get everyone around the telly for what is going to be a fantastic race in Silverstone. But we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, so I need
And just like that, everyone, welcome back to EML. In fast time, we have got the lobby reset, thanks to the great hard work of myself and Indigo, making sure the settings are correct, making sure everyone was in the right positions. Everyone is, you can't complain, and if you do, just blame it on Indigo because he's the lobby host. But my name is James Head, I'm going to be taking to the stream, of course, here tonight, once again. And joining me in the commentary box, of course, is Mr. IRT Indigo. And Indigo, we saw from qualifying there, very close qualifying session between PSR and OP. Blackbox out on top, Markador second, and Rallying in third. The top three, arguably, the top two teams, arguably within the within EML this season, definitely here to play.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is going to be incredible with all the top tier teams there. OP as well. With it's just going to be so fascinating to watch all these drivers. But it's going to be very close to the top there with a black box there, very close, and Markador's in P2, Orvin in P3, Mohammed as well. Mohammed did a fantastic job in P4. So the ETA driver showing some great pace. His teammate Nicola P in P12 there, vulture for him, but hopefully he can come back through the field. All these times are quite close too, so there's plenty to gain on this circuit. But I see some big DRS trains as well, because that's always the case on the track, and especially here at the British GP. But hopefully, I'm just having a look at the chat as well to see if everything is sorted, because this is my first time, by the way, hosting a lobby, and having to do a restart at the same time it can be overwhelming sometimes. But hopefully I've got to set this right. If I don't, blame me. I'll try and sort it out next time. But yeah, this is my first ever time actually hosting a lobby, because I don't do that. I just usually commentate. But yeah, a lot of responsibilities on me tonight. Hopefully I got it all right for you. I've tried to take the time and effort to make it all work out in the end. So bear with me if I don't get it right for the first time.
Yeah, I'm just confirming in the chat all settings are correct and formation app is on, so they have got a little bit of time to prepare up their tyres, of course, get the coldness out of the tyres as well, and get them up to some degree of heat before the race actually starts. Let's have a look then at the track map in question before we get to the formation app. 5.8 kilometres and then 3.6 mile around this old airfield circuit. Of course, first host of Grand Prix in 1950 and has been there ever since. Bar going to Donington, bar going to Brands Hatch, and bar going to Aintree Corner as well, or Aintree Racecourse that is nowadays. 18 turns away and the driver's out on track, and we are getting going very much soon for the formation lap to begin. And with 18 cars, with 20 cars on the grid, 18 drivers, 18 corners, I should say, around this old airfield circuit. This should promote a lot of overtaking, a lot of good speed. There's 2 DRS zones, plenty of overtaking, plenty of speed, and that means the drivers are going to be absolutely going for broke.
Yeah, they are as well. All the drivers are put on the setup. Setups are important as well after a restart, because some people can forget on their tyre strategy too. So let's see what the optimal tyre strategy is around here. And we're just waiting for all the drivers to ready up, then ready for this 28 lap of race around here in Silverstone. I can't wait to see you the first time here in EML. My name is IRT Indigo, and hopefully me and James can provide you with all the great action and entertainment to give you the best experience as well. And all the teams watching here with intent and interest as well. So they'll be keeping an eye out on all their drivers' performance, and let's see if they can put on a great display for all their teams representing here tonight. All 10 teams as well. So I can't wait to see how it all goes down in the next few laps' time.
Yeah, definitely so. There's a bit of complaints going on about the formation app actually being on. It is in the rules and regulations. I can confirm this because I actually read them out to Indigo himself and sent up the lobby. So that's why the formation app is on. If you do have a problem, of course, mention that within. I know there is a glitch within the game, but majority of leagues that I've been seen running on formation app have actually worked on the formation app. So we are just waiting for the drivers to get their setups ready, get everything ready in terms of the action. And of course, we didn't actually get to see what tyres everyone would have been starting on. So this is going to be really interesting in terms of the strategy. I have down in my notes, it's going to be either hards, mediums, or mediums to hards. It'll probably be hards to mediums rather than everything else. There are the possibilities potentially, like Mr. Jerry Van Bussel has done in the past in PSGL around here, go 20 laps in a set of hard compound tyres, then pit in late on for set of softs, and then trickle you all the way down to the back of the field. And you do not want to be setting up that if you are one of those drivers who is going and potentially going for that sort of set of soft compound tyres. But of course, we are going to get the action going on track very soon indeed. The drivers have been told to ready up. I think they are just preparing everything at this stage. Maybe a little bit of a grace period while the drivers get set for the racing here at Silverstone. And of course, with it being a dry race, it is going to be clear action all the way to the checkered flag. Hopefully, Hopefully no safety cars or VSCs or anything to spice up in the mix. But good evening to everyone there in the chat. Let's hope you are doing very well, and let me know in the comment section where you are coming from and who you are supporting in the chat as well, and who your predictions are, of course, for pole position. Jav there saying in the chat the sponsors are going to the sponsors are going to smack me even. They are definitely going to do that indeed. Of course, referencing another chair company and another company on the stream. Probably not the best thing to do. Tuka there in the chat saying hello chat, and also Tato saying hello to Tuka as well. Hopefully you're doing very well, and hopefully we're going to get some really good action out on track. But we are pretty much good to go. I believe, Mr. Indigo, you actually have to tell the guys to go. But hopefully we will. Hopefully
Ready up?
Yeah, we can ready up. We can. That's what they're waiting on, I think. I think.
They waiting for me.
Yeah, they were waiting for you, I think, to tell them to ready up. You're the lobby host. But there we go. We've got that sorted.
I thought they knew already.
I thought they knew already as well. We're just sitting here just admiring the Silverstone pit garage. But we are going to see cars out on track very soon. We're going to see everyone now enforcing their setups in. And as I say, we do a 5-minute grace period in Legacy Division. I always get confused in terms of when the racing's going to be started, because we've got no timer on our end. So this is going to be pretty much a hellish start to the race. But what we are going to do is get the formation lap ongoing as well. And the formation lap is now underway, which means we can have a look at what tyres everyone is going on. And it's an interesting call. Further down the field especially, Shazoo being more so. Set of soft compound tyres for Tom and Toxic Tomato. The only other one on a set of softs, of course, is Mr. Tony for X Esports. So Tony there on a set of softs, along with the two drivers for Shazoo. Don't know what Shazoo were thinking. Maybe with Macho as being their engineer, is what I'm thinking. It's a very bold call to go on a set of softs at the start of the race. Very bold indeed.
Yeah, it is. I don't think the soft compound tyres has got a bad reputation anymore like it used to in the older games, because I don't think the wear is quite as bad as it used to be. So we are starting to see in other leagues as well that the soft compound tyres are being more used than the mediums then. So quite interestingly, nobody in the medium compound tyres, majority on the hards and 3 of them on the soft. So let's see how it all plans out. Just laughing because OP Ryan there just calling me out if the red flags are on or not. They aren't thankfully, so I haven't put that setup on.
Yeah, and in terms of the formation up as well, what we will say is if it is going to warrant a restart, we will do this throughout the season. It's just about, with round 1 being the championship, we have not had the opportunity to test this. We had the opportunity in the Race of Legends and the social race a little bit earlier on, and that was in July. But this is September now. This is game time for all of these drivers. There are going to be teething issues. If we are going to have those teething issues, it's better to have them now at the start of the season than to have them the final race of the season and to botch up what possibly could be a really good championship. So, to defend that, I think with the formation up being on, if it is glitched, we will turn it off, we will restart. It is wasting everyone's time. Mistakes will be learned, definitely. And everyone is in a learning period here in EML as well, including me as the head commentator. Even though I've been here 5 seasons now, I'm still in the learning period as well. But so far, so good in terms of the formation lap. But everyone else on that set of hard compound tyres, though, Indigo, Black Box Marketers are rally in the top 3. Going to be very interesting to see how the drivers progress on and how much progress, especially Tom's going to make with him being in the top 10 on that set of softs.
Yeah, so Tom's strategy then, he has to make up a lot of ground on those soft compound tyres as much as he can on the opening stint of this race before they go on to, well, before he goes on to the hard compound tyres. I presume it's going to be a one-stop for all the guys on the softs there, because that's the preferred way to go at any track, especially in Silverstone too, because the pit lane is so long. But an early safety car could benefit too for the likes of Tom, Tomato, and Tony. So interestingly, actually, both Mercedes, both teammates are going for those soft compound tyres, so they're going for an aggressive strategy. Over to you, James.
Here we go. 5 red lights are coming on here with Black Box Marketers on the front row of the grid. 5 red lights are on, and it will be eventually, I hope, Lights out and away we go, and Blackhawks gets a very good start. Marquinhos alongside will be pulled by Aurelian, and Aurelian might actually get round in towards Abbey. Around the outside he goes, and the McLarens lead 1-2 in Britain. Blackhawks lead from Aurelian in second, Marquinhos in third. The cascade now in towards Village, and Aurelian's around the outside of Blackbox as well. Great move by Aurelian to the race lead. Blackbox there now filters in second. Nando down it down the inside of his own teammate and Marquinhos in fourth. Mohammed and Tom. Tom already making up significant ground. He's up to fifth, might be going for fourth in towards Brooklands. Phenomenal stop by everyone. Raffin Shocks getting caught up in a little bit of carnage through Brooklands, I think, as we come. Tom now leading into fourth position he goes, and now switches the inside on, and Nando, those softs are absolutely weathered on. Beautiful stuff by Tom. He is cooking early on in his strategy. Later on in the race it's going to be different, but Tom there in third, Nando in fourth, Tom the big gainer, and side by side as we go with Sasha and Urpek in towards the right-hander now of Cup's corner at the midpoint of the lap, but it's Aurelian leads. Blackbox in second, Tom in third. Phenomenal start by Tom. Phenomenal start by everyone. That is what Premier 1 should be all about. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, very fantastic indeed. As you can see, Tom all over the back of Blockbox then, and so already enforced the pressure. He's made up 4 places, or is he about to? He's going side by side now with Blackbox into Stowe. Late to the brakes with those soft compound tyres. Great move. Urpek is alongside the Red Bull of Mohammed. Mohammed going out wide there is allowing Urpek to be alongside him. Now late to the brakes. Here we go then into Vale. Let's see who gets on top. We can see Urpek has the inside line. Mohammed around the outside. They're still side by side, but Urpek has the slight advantage, has the racing line, and moves himself up into P6. So great move, great lunge there from Urpek from Stowe all the way to the final corner, as Toxic Tomato is ahead of Nekelepi for 30th place. Toxic Tomato actually lost a few positions as well, not capitalised on those softs, but hopefully can make a charge now like his teammate Tom. More position changes. We've got Paul there, but he stays ahead for the time being there. He went up the inside, but Paul had better traction around the outside and maintains his position there. So great opening lap from Tom to gain 4 positions already, and now he's putting pressure on Aurelian. Aurelian had a fantastic start. He was defending from Marquinhos, and he went around the outside of his own teammate into turn 3 then. So Aurelian might have lost 2 places, but gained them back immediately, going around the outside in turn 3, whereas Marquinhos lost a place to his teammate Nando, who's up to P4. More position changes down the midfield there with the Red Bull and Alpha Romeo. He's also on a soft compound tyre, so expect him to be charging to the field as Nekelepi goes off the track. And now the LP's alongside with Ethan there, making a lunge into Maggots and Beckett. It's going to be very close now in these fast speed corners. Contacts made, but thankfully not enough to sustain any damage or merit a spin as they remain where they are. Twisters left the session, so I'll give him an invite as he falls down into last place then. Over to you, James.
Yeah, those are the positions gained out on track as well. Tom gaining 5 positions off the start. Nekelepi and Ethan are still side by side, right in the background. A shot right out of camera shot as we go. Aurelian though leading the way from Tom there in second. Blackbox there in third, as the timing screens will now fix themselves on the left-hand side. That's pretty much the only glitch I think we've had in terms of the formation up from our end anyways. But Aurelian there leading from Tom there in second. Blackbox there in third, and Tom really hunting now. Maybe the hunter on lap 1 becoming the hunted now on lap 3, because Tom right on the back of Aurelian. These two know each other very well indeed. They know each other's strengths and weaknesses. And are we going to see the weakness potentially from the PSR man down the straight? Yes, we will, because Tom absolutely breezes past down the hanger straight in towards Brooklands. Beautiful stuff. And Tom through, and he's into the lead of the race from Aurelian in second. But in terms of what we're going to see out on track, is still more action further down the field. Toxic Tomato, the other Shazoo man, getting his elbows out on the outside now, coming through Lovefield, through the right-hander. National straight now beckons for Toxic Tomato, looks the inside line, coming through Woodcut at the final corner. Great stuff, the old final corner, that is a Toxic Tomato, gets the job done. He's through and he's into 11th at the old final corner. He's through and he's into 11th, and Paulie there in turn doing a good job at this stage. But Tom now leads. Aurelian in second, Blackbox in third. Absolute hammer and tongue racing up the field. Apart from Twisted trying to get back in the lobby, hopefully he can. I know he was having a few issues joining the lobby in the first place in the first session. But Tom now under pressure once again from Aurelian. We missed that in towards Stowe. Tom though inviting Aurelian through, and PSR against Shazoo against OP. Oh, how I'm whetting my appetite for this one.
Yeah, it's a very close between all the big teams here in EML, but you see there Tom being overtaken by Aurelian again, and if Aurelian there stays in the DRS, if Tom overtakes him again, if he sticks with the soft one, and that'll pay dividends for him later on the strategy once he goes over to the potential softs, because looks like that strategy from Tom, he maybe go from softs to hards, but Tom there with the soft compound tires inevitably will be staying all over the back of Ori in his rear wing. But with the power of the DRS, it's going to be quite difficult if Tom does get past Ori to stay ahead and pull away. As you can see here on the Wellington straight, we go down now into, oh, he actually backs out of this one, so just waiting later on in the lap to make his overtake, because he got overtaken down at the Wellington, the hanger straight, so maybe he wants to overtake on the hanger straight and try and pull away as well. As Nicola P there fighting with Ethan, he just moved himself up to P15 now, being overtaken once again. They're going side by side into Lovefield, and let's see who comes out on top, because he's trying to stick around the outside, which he does do so, but Tom there ever so close, right behind the McLaren driver, so he might overtake him there. But both McLarens in P1 and P3 in a great position, as Nicola P and Ethan are still fighting over P15. Looks like they sorted their squabbles out, but Tom then having DRS down the straight, would he back out of this, or would he go for this, or in there getting a good launch coming out on Maggie Beckett with Tom all over the back, where there's a big DRS train there from first down to what, 10th now, as Sacha is also being detached because he's a second behind. Devon's now overtaking him up into P8. He goes. I don't think Sacha had DRS on that lap, but Tom's still there down in P2, and Devon there overtaking his teammate. I think he did that tactically with the DRS himself to try and claw his way back into Mohammed there, to try and get DRS off him to stick in this train, because the DRS there splitting off into two ways. Devon just outside of it desperately needs to get back inside. With these slow speed corners, it should be easier to try and pull his way back in with these guys sustaining dirty air.
Yeah, definitely. So Devon actually on 16% of ERS as he comes in toward Village Corner there at turn number 3 and in toward the loop. So that is going to be concerning from an FER perspective. Maybe letting that quicker driver go, though, is not the best thing in the world, as Nando now goes to the inside line on Black Box, who now tries to defend off in toward Brooklands. Maybe Nando's not going to go for the move in toward Brooklands, and he doesn't. Black Box covers him off. Little bit late, I've got to say, in movement across the straight there, down the Wellington straight from Black Box. It's just a minor thing, but if he keeps on doing that, it will be reported by Outplayed Racing, and I know OP very well. They will report absolutely anything in terms of getting that advantage, and that's what you have to do in a close scenario like this on lap 5 out of 26. Aurelian leading from Tom in second, Black Box there in third. The only other man that we have lost pretty much from this race is Twister. The Shocks and Raff there, just a little bit off the pace there, a little bit out of this DRS train, a little bit out of their comfort zone early on, or the French team right at the back of the field. But here comes Black Box once again, and Nando now trying to get onto the back as well. But Black Box the inside line on Tom, not going to get the job done. Everyone's saving their ERS. Probably the best thing to do at this point. Toxic Kamato's soft compounded tyres, however, are going off the cliff already. And Paul's now through and he's into 10th position. And Toxic Tomato already in the pit lane. Lap 5 out of 26. I was concerned about this strategy. I'm even more concerned now they've only lasted 5 laps.
Yeah, I am too. So maybe Toxic Tomato stuck in that DRS train, opted to go something different then. So let's see what ties he goes on to. Oh, you've left the session, James.
My great and host. What on earth is going on
Right.
here? Oh, everything's going on.
Left. I'll invite you back, but I'll keep you all informed of what's going on the circuit then, as Aurelian still continues to lead. So apologies about that, everybody. I'll invite you back, James, right now to get you in the session. So Twisted and James have left. Hopefully I can get you back in. There you are. Then I'll just keep an eye out what's going on the track to keep you all updated to see what's gone off. But Aurelian still maintains the lead with Tom there, and it's all a big DRS train now, because from first down to 16th, it's a huge train following along. So no room for error whatsoever, because you could drop out this train very easily. that earlier on, if you just joined back the session, with Tom now still forcing the pressure on Aurelian. But like I said, the longer he stays there, it looks like Nando there desperately want to try and find a way past. You can see him sliding through the corners, the mid-speed corners there, going into turn 3 and turn 4. And you can see their massive wheel spin on the exits too, as he tries to take different lines to overtake Blockbox. He's got a lot of EOS. Is this his chance now to make a move? It's very close, closer than he's been. Look at Tom there pulling to the left, and Nando too pulling to the left-hand side. But they both decide to stay behind for the time being then.
Yeah, and we're back in now, which is very good. Tom all over the back of Aurelian, as you mentioned. We've only missed, 2 laps of the racing, so it's not too bad. A quick turnaround from my end, and we're all good to go once again. Toxic Tomato down at the back of the field there in 19th position. He came, of course, into the pit lane from that sort of soft. The timing screens will fix themselves on the left-hand side. But Aurelian there leading from Tom in second, Blackbox there in third, Nando there in fourth. We're all just playing a big game of high-speed chicken and a high-speed game of chess, I think, at this stage as well, as they try and really work each other out. Tom's tyres, they're beginning to go off. PSR, Blackbox there, very much struggling coming out of Chapel. This might be Nando's opportunity to try and look for the move, but I don't think he's enticed to go for it. The PSR man there down in, the PSR man in third position, the OP man there down in fourth. Are we going to see Tom into the pit lane? No, we remain as we are for the top 4 at this stage. Marco Opec there in 5th and 6th, but apologies about that. Everyone flocking probably to watch Bargain Hunt, and then probably flogging to come back here and watch the stream, which is good. 38 of you now tuned in. We are back live, and hopefully it will never happen again. Aurelian there leading from Tom in second, Blackbox there in third, and we've learned one thing there: don't put the formation lap on because it ruins the head commentator's stream.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of different opinions. You're only tied to your opinions, of course, but there could be a lot of opinions about this the formation lap being on and off. Personally, I don't really mind. It just if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So I know a lot of people want the formation lap just to get prepared and settled. But I just saw a battle between Lucas and Raf there for P16 and P17. Looks like Lucas got squeezed off the track going into Vale there, but just enough of space to stay on it for the time being. But as you can see there, lap 9 out of 26 there. I wonder if the soft compound tyres are reaching the end of the peak performance now. He's still in that DRS train, which is helped to be there, but I wonder how long it's going to be before those softs does start come to an end. We've got a second DRS train then with Sacha and P9, not able to keep up with this pace of his teammate Devin, who's doing a very good job there. He's at the back of this DRS train, so it'll be very hard work from there to try and make up some moves, as essentially everybody down the straight in the DRS zone to be carrying the same speed. But as you can see there, all the guys now on the hanger straight just right behind each other, but can't quite make the moves as they want to. But Aurelian, they're looking very good now. He knows his teammates right behind. He knows Tom's on all soft compound tyres. One there making the move on Sacha. They're going side by side into Stowe. This is very close. And one's made the move on Sacha. But what about the Haas support? Might fancy a move up the inside. That's very close indeed. Turn 17 now. Trying does a switch back, but not enough room there on that occasion to do so. So Sacha just lost out. He's doing a bit of pace, is Sacha. So I wonder if it's a setup issue or not. He's low on the EOS too, as he tried to keep up with the pack. So that could be a big issue, whereas everybody else around here has got quite a lot of EOS in their disposal then. So it's a power draining circuit, of course, but he looks like he's struggling for the time being. Devin there just holding on to the DRS as well, 9/10 away from his nearest rival. Mohammed had a lot of wheel spin coming out of turn 5, so lost a few hundreds there in the process, but will gain it back with the DRS. But as we remain where we are then with the guys in the top 8, no position changes so far, but I wonder what's Tom's going to do down there in P2.
Yeah, I think his softs are now beginning to maybe wane a little bit. I know he's got 95% of EOS. In fact, most of the guys have in this 6-car train. As we see Paul there getting through on Sacha further down the field. So he's into 10th. Sacha there down in 11th position. But Aurelian there leading the way. Has control over the race, but he hasn't really got an element of control, if you know what I mean. He hasn't got full control, basically, is what I'm trying to say, over the race. He's got Blackbox there in third. I think if PSR want to get a bit serious there with Shazoo Tom, I think now close Blackbox up to the back of Tom, and then try and fight them out, as Tom's actually going to do the polar opposite to the inside line, in towards Stowe corner. Already in there on the outside line, there was barely a Mercedes-shaped gap, and he comes into the pit lane to Tom. Now, on that sort of soft compound tyre, into the pitch. Rear locks coming into the pit lane as well, but that is him in on that 10 out of 26, pretty much where I expect them to come in, to be honest. An optimal time length around here is 10, but already in there leading the way. Blackhawks there in second, Nando there in third, and Nando right tucked underneath the rear wing of the McLaren as he now comes through the left-hander in towards the right-hander now of Village, but doesn't get the job done as Paul now has left the session. So not sure what is going on, maybe in terms of the connection, as Blackbox there in second. Once again, trying to stop Aurelian, and that's to try and get that gap. And Nando, I think, is not going to be enticed maybe to get this move. If I was in the OP shoes right now, I would have gone for that, because he's trying to now try and bring up the apple cart and try and really spoil the party from Nando's perspective. He should have went for that, because I think otherwise PSR could land themselves 1-2 at the end of the pit stops.
Yeah, so what happened on the turn 3? Black Box rear lot of brakes. Nando tried to go for the opportunity, but Black Box taking his racing line, maintaining P2. Nando's trying to force the pressure. That was a big mistake for Black Box, but managed to keep hold of P2. So he can't afford to do that any more times. Otherwise, Nando and the likes of Marcados will definitely take advantage. But what will happen down at the end of Tiger Straight? Will Nando, is he closer? Will he use more of that battery to try and force a move on Black Box? He has to separate these two, otherwise these two have got a big advantage. But here they come then. Black Box also joined his ear. The side by side into Stowe then. Marcados has, Black Box has the inside line. Nando went a bit too deep there at the exit as Black Box maintains P2. He used the ERS and DRS off the back of O'Reilly to try to stay ahead too. So he gets closer and closer, but he just can't make the move, can Nando, and he stays with P3 for the time being. Shizou Tom has rejoined on in 17th place on the mediums, by the way. So it's a soft medium strategy, which I haven't seen in a long time. So let's see if that pays dividends for him, because maybe it's a setup thing where he could just save the tyres for a long period of time. It used to be a soft medium strategy back in the old games as well, as I remember correctly. But it looks like he's making a strategy work, because the soft went a long way, so the mediums can make it a long way too. But here we go then. What's Nando going to do on the Wellington Straight? Will he try and force a move? No, he's just too far behind for the time being.
Yeah, Urpek running on the back of Marcados as well. Oh, it looks at the inside line. Needy tries to get the job done, actually, through that corner. We see Devon going through on Mohammed there as well. We will get Paul that other invite. He will be getting sent one, I'm sure, very much now. But Aureli now leading from Black Box in second. Nando there in third. Marcados and Urpek fourth and fifth. Still got battles up and down the field. Raph and Shocks are having a battle with the PGS boys of Lucas and Paul. Of course, Paul dropping down the field there as a result of him still being in the eye. Same with Twisted as well. He's nearly actually a lap down. In fact, he is a lap down, because there he is, right in front of the leader, coming through the right-hander there, in towards Chapel, through the left-hander. But Aurelian there leading the way. Black Box there in second. Nando there in third. Way saying in the chat, the in-game sound and the stream have had a desync. Might be because I actually reset the thing. So give me a second. I will try and fix that if I can. But we are seeing pit stops. I think that is Black Box into the pit lane. So Black Box in, Nando also in. So PSR and OP splitting the strategies, and I do not blame them whatsoever. Hopefully, though, that has fixed the little bit of a glitch that we had. If not, you might just have to cope with it for now on that 13 down to 26. If not, I could also turn up the game sound as well if needs be. But Aurelian, Marcados and Urpek, the top three. But Black Box in, Nando in, and they are going for the more predictable strategy, hards to mediums.
Yeah, that's the norm. That's the main strategy around any track at the 2023 game in the past few games as well. But when those guys made their pit stops, Nando and Black Box, Urpek tried to force a lunge on Marcados going into turn 14, but couldn't quite pay it off, so he had to stay behind then. So, interestingly, instead of first place pitting, which is the usual choice, it's actually Black Box has gone for the pit stop instead of Aurelian there. So that's a very interesting strategy as well, has overtaken Lucas there for P8. So let's see where these guys rejoin in comparison. Nando's still in the back, by the way, of Black Box, who's in P11. So let's see how it all falls. Will Nando split the two McLarens now, being on the fresh and medium compound tyres, and try and get ahead of Aurelian? Because I think these two on the medium compound tyres should have much better pace, obviously, with those new mediums, warming up immediately the mid-range tyres against the old hards. As Urpek has overtaken Marcados, he moves himself up into P2 then. So let's see at the end of this lap, Aurelian in the pit lane, as you expect, to cover the undercut guys, especially now Nando's threatening him down and Marcos too.
Interesting though for Marcados, he's staying out. So the OP man is actually staying out. I thought he would have been in the pit lane to try and cover off potentially Tom later on in the race, but he splitting the strategy. This now makes me think if he can take those hards to around another 2 or 3 laps, he could potentially go on a set of soft compound tyres towards the end of the race. Paul, by the way, is back in the session, so we have managed to get him back in. Twisted's just come in the chat saying, I think my internet went on holiday. I think you deserve potentially new internet, I think, in terms of the issues that you've been having, my friend. They're down in 20th position, and of course, out of the points right now as it stands. But there is Tom. Where is Aurelian? Aurelian's on the pit lane exit, and look at where Nando and Black Box are. Side by side it will be between Nando and Aurelian, in toward the right-hander now of Village, in toward the loop at turn number 4. Nando's got so much fresher tyres Same with the rallying, and I think Black Box is now going to try and have them both potentially with the rallying on that cold compound tyre. It is PSR against OP, and OP now going for that with Nando, going for the inside line on a rally and gets the job done. And if I was the PSR boys right now, I'd swap the positions immediately because Black Box is much quicker than the rallying, and that's just going to cost them time a little bit later on in the race. But hopefully everything is okay. The desync is now gone. It was just a problem with the Elgato, which is good. Marcos leading, Mohammed second, Niclope there in third, and so far we haven't had any safety cars or VSCs, and long may that continue.
Yeah, so that was very crucial there for Nando to get past O'Reilly in there, who's on the colder tyres. So now he's potentially first in this DRS train in a net P1. As Marcos, like you said, has stayed out once again. Mohammed is in the pit lane too to end his hard stint. So Nando there, essentially now the net P1 of this race, will definitely undercut Marcos. O'Reilly in there will force the pressure this time, as they used a lot of ES in the last lap too to try and stay ahead of Nando. So that was a great outlap from Nando as well. I thought Black Box being ahead of Nando before or after the pit stops, he let him go. It looked like he just let him go on the Wellington straight. So I thought he'd defend more to try and allow Reelan to do the overcut heading, but it hasn't happened. And now OP Nando is up into P7. So looking good for Ferrari. Do you think, James, judging by the soft compound tyres being used early in the stage as well, do you think Marcos could be extending that stint on the soft compound tyre, maybe potentially to go towards the end, or will it still be the mediums and just be the freshness of them all? I think, by the way, Nando's got DRS. Yes, he has, because there was a back marker there. So Nando's got DRS to protect himself, and Tom is up into P3 ahead of Lucas then.
Yeah, definitely. So to answer your question as well with Marcos staying out there an extra lap, potentially another lap as well. He's coming towards the Maggots and Beckett section right now, so keep an eye on him at this moment in time. We'll see what Marcos will do, of course, if he does decide to come in the pit lane. But yeah, lap 15 out of 26, Joe Van Bussel, I referenced it a little bit earlier on, took 20 laps on a set of hards to a set of softs, ended up being right down at the back of the field. So if Marcos now decides to come in, which he is doing, it's the sensible thing, otherwise he'd be at a much bigger disadvantage a little bit later on in the race. So OP splitting the strategies, which is key. Nando, though, trying to catch the back of Lucas. He's 3.5 seconds behind Tom right now. That is going to be big time to gain, as Urpek is side by side with Black Box, running down the straight on the minimap, now on board with them, in towards Stowe corner. Urpek there, trying to now just get through on the inside of Black Box. Black Box will not give any inch of room. Urpek goes so deep on the brakes. Shuli's made the mistake, and Black Box now neatly takes a bit of front wing with him as well. But in the end, Black Box just outgunned Urpek on the brakes. Urpek there so late. Black Box 30s into 7. Nothing wrong with that at all. Just a pure outbreak there from Urpek, and Black Box there 6th. Urpek there in 7th as Tom still in the net lead of the race. Niclope only one continuing. Marcos, by the way, where's he decided to come out? He's behind Devon. Of all people, he's behind Devon, so that's going to be a very interesting battle. YCN all over the back of Tony as well. Tony positioned the car very nicely for X Esports. They're in 10th position right now with him. Penalties, by the way, at this stage as well, as we are going to see YCN to the inside line on the Alfa Romeo. Well, there's an easy move there from the Alpine to get the job done. It is 3-second penalty so far for Tony, Name Changer, and Raph. They are the only 3 that we've seen so far from our camera angles anyways. Anybody else, of course, can report that into the stewards room if drivers have been naughty boys, which I hope they haven't. But Niclope leading, Tom in 2nd, Lucas there in 3rd, Nando there in 4th, and Aurelian there in 5th, and Aurelian hunting them down, coming through Maggots and Beckett.
Yeah, so Marcos there. Will the 2 or 3 lap fresher tyres be beneficial for him? Here comes OP Nando on Lucas. Aurelian has to follow immediately. He can't afford to get stuck behind Lucas there in the Haas. He's on all the tyres, so Aurelian should follow through swiftly, which he does because the Haas goes into the pit lane then. So it wasn't hard work whatsoever, and importantly not lost the DRS there at all, because people on all the tyres also could cost you the race, but he disposed of it very, very quickly. So Tom on the medium compound tyres. Let's see if he can make this worse from soft to medium, like we haven't seen for a long time back in the older games as well, where that used to work. So back in like 2020, 2021, where we could do soft to medium, but the gap is 1.5. With guys on fresher mediums behind, it could be a bit of a stretch. It could be difficult for him. Let's see how it plays off, because Nando is gaining time on him as well. So Tom desperately needs to try to keep. Look at that, Aurelian side by side with Nando. He's overtaken him now. Up the inside he goes on Nando, but will Nando try and go around the outside? And no, he would just stay there. So yeah, try and do the switchback, but he couldn't do it.
No, not quite coming out of left field. Nice stuff though by Aurelian. Thuney's into 2nd, but look at the gap now fresh mediums compared to old mediums, 1.3 seconds now the gap. That is why they've extended their stints a little bit longer, Aurelian and Nando, and they've played it very nicely indeed. Marcos has got very good pace as well. He's on that set of medium compounder tyres. He's 5 seconds off pretty much this gaggle of cars that he's got in front. So if Marcos wants to try and play late on, it will be because of this battle that's going to now unfold as Nando closes in all the way towards the Stowe corner, in towards 10:15, and Nando just about fits the car through, but Aurelian now on the outside line is now going to come back, and the McLaren and Ferrari are now side by side in toward the Vale chicane as we ride on board from Black Box's point of view. Nando though goes a little bit deep, and does he go through? Nando on Aurelian through Club Corner, through goes Nando, and he's into second, but they're still side by side now down in towards Abbey and Farm. Onto lap 18 out of 26 we go, and Nando is through and he's into second. The Portuguese man working wonders in that Ferrari, gets the job done. Aurelian though still trying to find the move somehow, and Black Box and all of this is gaining time as a result. Tom leading, Nando second, Aurelian in third, but Aurelian makes a huge mistake coming out of the loop.
Oh my goodness me, that was incredible. Those battles there for the final sector all the way down to turn number 1, that was just incredible from these two. Kept it clean, gave each other enough space. Like you said, through goes Nando in the final corner, had better traction as well. Now he's in the DRS range of Tom. They're both quite low on the ERS as well for good measure. And Black Box looking there in an interest. He managed to catch up on this battle with these two squabbling in the final sector. So it's brought him back into play along with Urpex. Meanwhile, keeping our Marcos, he is closing down the gap. He was 3.5 of the other lap, now it's 2.6. He's bringing along Devon too for good measure. So keeping our Marcos at P6, he also could come back into play. But Nando there, right at the back now of Tom. Will he use Tom to save EOS, I wonder? But as you can see there, the Ferrari gaining and gaining and gaining. Will he make an overtake or will he stay behind? So we've got to think about this tactically as Paul has left the session once again, unfortunately. So I'll have to invite him back. But you keep going with this.
Yeah, Aurelian on the back of Nando trying to dice his way through in towards Vale and then towards now Club Corner at turn 18 before embarking on Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. Nando makes a slight mistake and Aurelian now the Frenchman right tucked underneath the rear wing as we come onto lap 19 out of 26. It's Tom leading from Nando in second, but Aurelian's got such a good run coming through Abbey and Farm. Not sure what they're serving in terms of the wings there for PSR, but looking very good. Black Box there in fourth, Urpec there in fifth. Marcos is gaining closer, but this from far, we're in a DRS train. Marcos isn't. He's got Devon to help, but he's a second behind himself, so Devon is not going to help him as they come now down the Wellington straight once again. Nando now going to be enticed for the move by Tom. He sees what's coming, but Aurelian doesn't. To the inside line, gets them both to the inside. Great stuff from the McLaren, through and he's into the lead. The Mercedes there and Ferrari did not see that one coming. Black Box in fourth, Urpex there in fifth. They're side by side coming out of left field as well, and Williams nearly getting forced in the grass there, but Urpex trying to now dice his way to the inside line. He can't. Black Box there in fourth. Games, whatever they are out on track, it's fantastic to watch. And Aurelian in one of the most best, one of the biggest overtakes I think I've seen in a while around team and a team event. Aurelian now leads here in Britain, but maybe not for long.
Nando getting squirrely coming out of Maggie Beckett's. He went wide coming out of Cops, and he also did at Maggie Beckett's. Will Black Box come through? Now, that was an incredible move from Aurelian. Took 2 for 1 down into Brooklyn. So what a lunge there from Aurelian. And now Tom, it looks like he's struggling too. Just went off as so. Nando stays behind. He's got to attack and defend because Black Box is right behind the gearbox of that Ferrari too. So watch out for him. As Marcos 1.7 now. The gap was like 2.6. Now it's 1.5. So one Ferrari struggling, the other one gaining 2. I think Nando might have to overtake Tom very quickly because I think Aurelian might pull away now with the freshness of those medium compound tyres. So let's see if Nando can get moved done where he couldn't have done it a lap ago down at Brooklyn's because he was on the outside, whereas Aurelian was on the inside too. So let's see then what happens on the Wellington straight as we head down now in towards Brooklyn's at turn number 6. Too far back to make any sort of impression. But Marcos 1.2, 1.1 now. He's very close to DRS range. He's rapid at this stage of the race too. So all eyes on him as well to see what he could do. As Urpec there, P5, was pressurised in Black Box. We had 2 separate fights there down into Brooklyn in the last lap. With Urpec forcing Black Box as well, but couldn't quite make the move. So he stays in P5. But Marcos now is in P6 with DRS, and Devon's just further behind too. On his own really, because the gap behind is 3.6. So Devon there running a lonely race unless you can catch in his DRS train. But look at this then. A hot, spicy battle forming between the top 6. I cannot wait to see how it all unfolds between these guys too.
Yeah, I guarantee as well, this is going to be coming down to the final 3 laps, I think, in this race. Aurelian there leading Tom in second, Nando in third. It's all getting strung out, but this is now the calm before the storm. This will be before the final thrust. Marcados has left Devon, by the way, for absolute dead running down the straight. It's 2.3 seconds now, the gap, compared to a second just a lap ago. YCN right on the back of Mohammed there as well. 8th and 9th position. There's a caution in sector 2. There's a yellow flag, and I'm not sure who that is for. It is for one of the WSC boys, and it's Raf, I think, that has spun. They're coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Probably caught on the inside curve a little bit too much, so Raf there causing the first yellow flag, actually, of the race. Albeit with me leaving the session, that could have been a yellow flag, but it wasn't. No red flags here in EML so far, but already now leading. Tom there in second, Nando there in third. Absolutely doing fantastically well. Lifeback there saying in the chat, "Oh, Shazoo trying the softs to medium strategy, and it's impossible," he says. Well, it's not impossible if you've got Tom in your team, and Tom there in second, doing an utterly brilliant job. He's got 43% of ERS. Aurelian's got 21%, so he's got more. Nando is now conserving that ERS. He's got 32%. Blackbox on 59, probably the highest out of the lot. Urpec on 25. Marcados on 19. If I'm Blackbox right now, I'd be using a little bit of that up just to try and get a little bit closer. As Tony and Nicolope, I think, side by side in towards Cop's corner. The Red Bull even getting the job done on the Alfa Romeo. Is the Alfa Romeo going to come back at him towards Maggots and Beckett's? No, he's not. Nicolope through, and he's into 11th. And talk about getting a very late call, as Tom is going to go maybe for the move for the race lead on a rally, and Marcados does on a Urpec. Confusing over my words still, but Marcados there in 5th, Urpec there in 6th, great racing out on track, and rallying still leading Tom second, Nando in 3rd, and Nicolope through on that move on Tony, but he's coming back in them once again in towards Stowe.
Yeah, indeed. I was keeping an eye on battle as well down the midfield there, as those two constantly swap positions as the name change is now ahead of Ethan. So I'm looking all over the grid to see what's happening. Ethan just getting ahead of name changer and up into P14 they go. So with this top 6 there being so close together, it's quite hard to mention the guys behind, because like Mohammed, Juan, Sacho as well in P10, they've all been in their own personal battles for their different positions there too. But back to the front there, we can see that Tom, we're saving him out of EOS now because he's behind already can't do anything about it now with the EOS. Tom just constantly conserving that EOS until towards the later stages of this race as well. So what about Marcados at P5? He's just moved ahead of Urpec a lap ago. Now he's putting immense pressure on Black Box. Then he's got the fresher tyres out a lot as well. So he'll be rapid towards the end of this race, and we put the pressure on as well. So I wonder how the both Ferraris will play out, because it looks like Marcados is the faster Ferrari driver. Oh, look at that Black Box there was sliding to the corner coming through Maggots and Beckett's. I think you saw that too.
Yeah, I did. I was on board with Marcados coming through there, and Blackbox nearly sliding his way. If I was in Marcados' shoes right now, I'd be saving a bit of ERS, because he's only got 5% left. Nando's on 29%, so I think OP are trying to play this maybe for more PSR than for Tom. Tom looks to be really in control now in this race. He's on the back of Aurelian. Aurelian is having to weather the storm. They're having to weather an AI car as well, and Twisted trying to get through. They all pick up DRS. Now coming down the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. Of course, that was a DRS zone in the past. It's not now. Aurelian there leading. Tom in second, Nando there in third, Blackbox there in fourth, then Marcados in fifth. I really hope you're enjoying this one, because these final 4 laps are going to get frantic, they're going to get hectic, but we are in for the wild and wacky ride here. But Aurelian now leading. Tom, Nando, and that was Marcados and Blackbox, was it?
Yeah, there was contact. I think Marcados just outbroke himself, not anticipating Black Box there because he was on pressure tyres, of course. So unfortunately, Marcados is now under pressure from Urpec as they go into Brooklands then. Urpec on the inside. Marcados will stick around the outside to have the inside line into the next corner. And that mistake was costly as well. Has it damaged his win? I'm not quite sure. Crucially, they're all still in DRS range of each other as well. That was very crucial there not to drop out. But you can see Urpec there putting pressure on the floor as Marcados has got no ERS whatsoever. He was fast in the corners, hence why he hit the back of Black Box on older tyres, so can't afford to do that. It was a very costly moment if he did that as well. So thankfully he's still in this race, is Black Box there, otherwise he could be very out of it shortly. But you can see there Tom also wants to mention Nando in P3, because I suspected he went off the track twice, and he has. Oh, there's yellow flags down there. Who is it? That's an Alpine, I think. Name changer Williams, sorry, that's very confusing between the colours on my screen. But I want to mention Nando in P3 because I told you he went off the track twice, and he did. He picked up 2 warnings within 1 lap, so 1 more warning for him. As you can see there, Marcados outbreaking himself to defend from Urpex because he's right behind him too for good measure. And now we head on to the Lewis Hamilton straight. He stays ahead for the time being. So 1 more mistake, or 1 more warning I must say, for Nando. 1 more exceeded track limit, that is a penalty for him, so he can't afford to do that. He's got to watch out for track limits, has Nando, after exceeding it twice in 1 lap in Cops and the exit of Maggots and Beckett's too.
Yeah, definitely so. Nando got to be very, very careful. Marcos as well beginning to drop out, maybe in terms of ERS more than his tyres. His tyres are very fresh still at this stage of the race, but his ERS management not helping his cause. However, if you're Tom and you're on 57%, you'll be laughing all the way to the bank, I think, with this one, because Aurelian leading the way has got 20% more at this stage, as Tom, compared to the man in front. Nando there in third. They're pulling away now from Black Box, Marcos and Urpek. And even at this stage, Black Box is not really keeping up with these guys. His tyres are beginning to go off a little bit sooner rather than later. So I think, honestly, it concerns the top three as we've got YCN side by side, nearly with Mohammed coming through the right-hander there of Cop's corner. And Sasha is not going to pull this one off in towards Magnus and Beckett. That would have been suicidal, quite literally, from the Aston Martin if you wanted to try and pull that one off. Nando there on the back of Tom is now trying to go for the move already, and now trying to force Nando maybe into a bit of a box there with Tom in the late braking, but Aurelian there still leading. Tom in second, Nando in third. They've just got to weather the storm very carefully indeed. That is another lap car ahead. I believe that's Paulie's AI they're now coming up towards, but Aurelian there leading. Tom in second, Nando in third, and Mohammed, by the way, has managed to get the job done, as well as on Sasha. YCN dropping 2 positions within the space of a lap.
They all want to stay behind or waiting for the DRS on the last lap there, as the Haas unfortunately gets lapped. That is poor. So Twisted and poor there. The internet connection hasn't been on their side at all. So hopefully in the next few races they can get that sorted and come back and show what they can really do, Paul and Twisted. But yeah, the Tom, Nando and Black Box obviously as well further behind. Look at Black Box. He's coming to the inside. He might overtake Nando. They're going side by side into Brooklyn now. This is so close there, almost off the track. It is a Nando.
Oh, no,
he also slides to the corners, and Black Box is just ahead for the time being. I saw Nando getting out of shape. I was on board with Black Box on the right-hand side. I saw Nando getting out of shape. Not quite sure if there was contact or not. But however, Black Box is a P3 then. So Tom is sandwiched between both McLarens, and Tom's a great advantage because on the last lap, he will have a lot of EOS at disposal to use it all. Where will he use it? Might be down at Stowe. I think that's the most obvious question, because you won't do it at the exit of Brooklands, because Orino will have an advantage as well with the DRS. So he'll wait patiently towards the end. But if Black Box continues to pursue him like that as he gets very close, then Nando might go to the inside, but he's too far back to do so. So this is going to be a very intense last lap.
Here comes Nando as well on the back of Black Box to the outside line. This will be very audacious if he pulls this one off. YCN, Sasha and Mohammed are 3 wide as well in the back there. But Nando, get as good as you're given to Black Box, gets the job done and through. Maybe goes Marcos, but they're in the wall. Black Box and Marcos in the wall. Hard contact into the wall, and both of each other spinning out. Unfortunate. I'm not sure what happened. The camera angle was a little bit shoddy there, but both of them are in the wall. Marcos and Black Box. I think Black Box has got away with it, but Marcos hasn't. He's got full wing damage and now brings the front 4 to play. Aurelian leading, Tom in second, but it's still between, it seems, Tom and Aurelian for this race. When Nando in third, he'll be absolutely fuming. OP will be absolutely fuming. Same with PSR. They made contact. 2 of the biggest teams on PlayStation making contact at Silverstone. Arguably one of the best tracks on the game as well. Drama here in EML F1, but Aurelian there leading the way from Tom with a final half a lap to go. And can Tom be inspired by Lewis Hamilton to try and get this race win? Or can the Frenchman hang on as we now come through the right-hander of Cops and in towards Maggots and Beckett's for the final time? And Tom just sidling his battery. 35% of EOS as we ride on board with him. Urpek and Nando maybe going for third position as Black Box is through on Marcos, getting that job done with that front wing damage. But Aurelian, I think, has now stretched his legs and he's now going for broke on the run down now in towards Stowe corner at turn 15. Tom is not close enough unless he tries a dive bomb down the inside line. I think this is going the way of PSR, and I think this is going away in the Frenchman, and Tom recognises that because Aurelian into the final corner, coming through Vale, coming through Club for the final time. The Frenchman now on the run to the line, takes the win in Britain. Tom there in second, Nando there in third, Urpek there in fourth. Urpek pushed him all the way to the line but couldn't manage the podium for NLR. Devon there in fifth. Black Box, even with that contact, somehow was still sixth. Sasha, YCN, Marcos home in ninth, getting very good points, I've got to say, from OP. They will put in a protest. I'm absolutely guaranteed of that. ET8 as well. Double points for them with Nicolope and Mohammed. Of course, we pay points all the way down to 19th position. Paulie there in 19th. I don't think because he didn't complete 90% of the race, that might not count. But what a drama-filled final lap of the race that was. Aurelian takes the race win. Tom in second, Nando there in third. And in the end, Aurelian did it out on track. And he stretched his leg enough coming out of Chapel to take the race win. And it's 1-up for PSR.
Cannot believe that. I thought Tom would have him on the last lap, but all reeling there with the straight line speed as well, and his great driving managed to stay in P1 despite Tom having the DRS. He used all the ERS, got to 343 kilometers an hour, which is about what, 213 miles an hour. So that's a lot of speed on the straight here in Silverstone, and just couldn't do it. So what a great driver, more really. Massive respect for him being in first place in the second half of the race, just being hunted down and being used for DRS and saving the ERS as well. But he just managed to pressure really well as well. So I can't believe the drive he's done tonight. But Erpek, want to mention him. He tried a lunge down the inside of Nando there in P3, but Nando just held him off. That was very intense. Looks like Erpek went for the switchback, but Nando had the racing line and stayed in P3. So that was very close for Erpek. He made a great lunge, but unfortunately couldn't pull it off. But Black Box, unfortunate for him there. That was just being in the war. So for Marcados as well. So hopefully for those two, they'll come back strong because they've shown immense pace tonight, especially with Marcados as well in the Ferrari, extending his stint and coming back as well. Gaining all that time down he lost and hunting these guys down. But yeah, just the contact at the final corner just cost them both, and hopefully they won't be phased by that. So Black Box and Marcadox, hopefully they'll come back stronger as well. But what a great drive from Aurelien, Tom and Nando as well in P3. Massive respect to all of them tonight. They did a great job as well.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll try and get the top 3 in for interviews if we can. There's drivers, Tom saying certainly he can't even see the chat, so that's going to be very fun to sort out. Aurelien, though, does take the win from Tom in second, Nando there in third. They showed very good words, actually, Nando and Aurelien after the race there. Erpek there in fourth with Devon in fifth. Black Box in sixth, then Sasha, YCN, Marcados in the Clope top 10, Mohammed, Ethan, Tony, Tuckers Tomato, Lucas top 15, Shocks, Wrath, Name Changer, who I think finished further ahead. He DNF'd there towards the end of the race, but he did actually finish, so we will get towards the end. But in terms of that racing, absolutely brilliant. Of course, we had Twisted as well, down at the back of the field along with Paulie for 19th and 20th position. And Tom reporting there in the chat as well, his fronts were so dead towards the end of the race. And that is why you do not do a strategy basically from softs to mediums around Britain. And I think Team Chazoo, I questioned their strategy even at the formation lap. I questioned their strategy. And unfortunately for them, it came back to bite them. But it was still fantastic to watch. And Tom gave it absolute all. But it wasn't enough. And the Frenchman takes one up for PSR.
Yeah, that was a crazy strategy, soft to medium there. The tyres were just dead towards the end, but somehow managed to pay it off and still stayed in P2 as he was before during his pit stop. So great drive from Tom to manage that soft to medium. Honestly, I thought he would just be hunted down towards the end of the race, but actually it didn't cost him too much. It might cost him the win because, like I said, the fronts were just absolutely dead. So the amount of understeer he was carrying into corners and just couldn't get the move done. But yeah, still good drive from Tom to have that pace, even on all the tyres as well, even on the softs at the beginning. So yeah, it might have biased him just a bit, but he'll definitely learn from the strategy. Toxic Tomato as well did the same strategy, but he was further down the field, so hopefully he could come back stronger too. Can Toxic Tomato, but I just thoroughly enjoyed that race throughout the whole entirety. 26 laps as well, went very quickly. Same with qualifying, just went so quick. It just went by in a flash. With all the action and entertainment from all these drivers, great racing. There was a bit of contact between Marcados and Black Box, but hopefully they can get it all sorted and shake hands and move on to the next one because it does happen in racing, close contact there. They were fighting throughout the entirety of that third sector and it just happens really. So hopefully they can move on from it and also shows a great race the next one.
Yeah, definitely so. And of course, in terms of the next race, the drivers are not seeing the comms box, by the way. So I don't think we are going to get interviews here tonight. We'll try and sort that out, of course, though, for next week. But what we can do, though, instead of spewing me in my face, you can have a look, of course, at the calendar that is going to be coming up this season for Academy and indeed for F1 and F2. F1 and F2, of course, at 8 p.m. UK time. Academy at 6 p.m. UK time as well. Ivan, Mike and SJ took you through the action a little bit earlier on. And F2, of course, delivering great racing with Lesty and Mr. CRL Freefall, your friend, of course, in the IRT team, or very good friends as commentators, of course, in F2. And hopefully they did a great job over there as well. I'll watch the F2 stream back a little bit later on. But, of course, next week, we go to the land down under where men go and women plunder. But Australia there for round 2. Down under, it's going to be a real test compared to Britain. I've driven around Australia on this game. Put it this way, I didn't enjoy it. Put it this way, I nearly got a podium. Didn't. And in the end, it is going to be really testing for our drivers out on track. These guys know better than us in the commentary box what this track's all about, but Australia will really, really test them.
Yeah, track limits as well. It's so easy to lose the traction too coming out of the slow speed corners at the Pillsbury corner. Very easy to lock the rear as well. And just a difficult track in general. So let's see how the drivers manage it here tonight next week. So I can't wait for the Australia Grand Prix. It's going to be another good race. We've got 4 DRS zones around here with that chicane being taken out as it was modified back in 2022, as it took I think it was a 2-year absence due to COVID, came back in 2022, and it changed ever since then with the new layout. So let's see if it's going to be exciting. And hopefully it will be. But yeah, the British GP, it never disappoints. I think we all agree, just a historical, iconic track to be around, and hopefully it is around because it's not a government-backed track. Is the British GP, so that's why there's been it's gone into administration a few times, but hopefully we could still have it because if this track's gone, then yeah, the home of motorsport's really gone too.
Yeah, it definitely is, and of course, there's not really any FIA even Grade 1 tracks, I think, to try and replace the Silverstone Grand Prix Britain. It's an institution at the end. I think they've signed that deal to 2024, and then that deal ends. So it is going to be very much intriguing. I think they'll sign, of course, an extension. If they didn't, of course, already this season, they will sign that extension, hopefully, and continue the home of British motorsport. But then again, why would you want to go to Grand Prix? That's £559 for a ticket. I am not going to the British Grand Prix next year, put it that way, because of the prices and because of inflation and everything like that. But it is just robbing, I think, opportunities of young children, of young kids who idolise the likes of Lewis Hamilton, who idolise like Lando Norris, to try and get to Silverstone. And in the end, they can't because the tickets are so high, and a family of 4 would be set back nearly £2,000. And that is extortionate for attending your home race here in Britain. But of course, Australia round 2 going to be very much interesting. One of my favourite tracks to commentate on, I've got to say, on this game, Australia, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing how that gets on. But what we can do, of course, though, is bring up our sponsors, of course, but we have been plugging all night, and of course it is Rising Lions, and you can win, as part of the giveaway, 2 karting sessions, which is very neat indeed. It can be done, of course, at your local track. So whatever track wherever you live, you've got a karting track nearby, you can attend. And if you want to win that giveaway, of course, you can message using the code at EML_F1. Message them on Twitter with the code 007, i.e. James Bond, or you can also message people on Discord if that is not working in terms of authentication. And the winner will be picked, of course, at random. I believe tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, will be picked at random. And I'm just trying to get up the information to see if I am missing anything regarding that. Give me a second. You can take a friend, of course, or you can book 2 single sessions as well. You can book it at your local track. Follow at Team RCP stream. You see it on your stream right now. And that is Wednesday, 8 p.m. UK time. The deadline for entries, though, is tomorrow at 8 p.m. So you've only got 24 hours or less than 24 hours to get your entry in. And if you're watching this on playback, don't say I didn't warn you in terms of watching it back, but there we are. So that is the code, that is the giveaway, and we are going to be having more throughout the season as well, which I'm very much looking forward to plugging as well. But what we will do now, of course, is end off the stream. And what was a frantic race at Silverstone, we're going to go for a lie down. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. Tick that notification bell, of course, if you're brand new to the channel. We'll be back, of course, next week for EML F1, EML F2, also at the same time of 8 p.m. And also EML Academy at 6 p.m. UK time as well. Get in on the action because it's going to be a frantic season here for Season 5 of EML F1. But until then, I've been James Head. He has been Mr. Jamie Morris. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, goodbye.